Thank you for joining us. I have Josh Anderson, the House District 20, joining me for the next few minutes here. It's not that much time, but we can talk about some of the issues there and stuff. And once again, thank you for joining us. I know we were talking about economic development. You were trying to bring in certain business infrastructure and stuff. Difficult task. I know once you're in the legislature, you would probably have to go out there, talk to a lot of individuals in businesses and stuff. And I think legislatures do play a role as far as bringing businesses in. Mm-hmm. And during the break, I mentioned to you Rick Perry, governor from Texas, who's in California, trying to pitch for Tesla to move there. And we don't have that aggression here, mm-hmm. but I would like to see that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, this is a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get something like this that I think represents not only the values of New Mexico, our rich culture of taking care of our land and looking at renewable energy and things like that, and the sun and the sky, and trying to bring in companies that reflect our values. So I think Tesla is a big opportunity for us, and yeah, we need to put a full court press on them if we want to bring them in. Other states are doing this, and you know, I'd be more than happy. I know. You know, their timeline is getting shorter day by day to see what happens, but this is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We don't have a lot of companies to this magnitude lining up to come to New Mexico, and when we can get them, we got to do everything we can to make sure that they find a home here and they sustain their business model here.
If they're calling it a gigafactory, I mean, if they actually do set it up, you're looking at several thousand jobs. I think 1,500 to start with. But then, you know, and these are jobs that are not minimum wage. These are mm-hmm. higher paying jobs, require a lot of technical skills and stuff. Creates that whole thing of, you know, how do we get them here? Anyways, we have we don't have very much time. So aside from the economic development, what else, what are the other issues that you feel that you wanted to run on, and what you're dealing with there as far as your district?
I think the most important thing that when you talk about economic development, small businesses, large businesses, anything, it all stems from our education system. And we need to work together in a bipartisan effort, not make this about politics, not pit teachers against parents, against students, against administrators, against politicians. We need to come together in a bipartisan effort and figure out a way that we can invest in our public education system that's going to give us the returns with our children, with our students that they deserve. And I think, you know, again, when I'm out talking to folks on the doors, that is a huge issue, especially
what are they saying to you as far as education? I'm not saying anything specific, like in general. What are they saying to you?
Well, I just think people are sad at the state of us basically being 49th and 50th every year in education. You know, they send their children to school, and you know, I think sometimes the 49th and 50 rating is a little bit skewed. I mean, I think a lot of parents really do care about their teacher and care about our educators and care about the folks in the school, and they respect that. But what we tend to see is our graduation rates tend to be poor, and our you know, then we talk about third grade reading and the
early childhood.
Early childhood. That, yeah. I am a firm believer, and the studies have shown that if we do not invest in early childhood education, and we do not get these children the resources as early as possible to get them engaged in the learning process, if we do not do that, we are never going to be able to rise above that 49th and 50th ranking. It's just never going to happen.
High school dropout rates, very high. When you're talking about early childhood, where do you think exactly, now I'm not trying to put you on the spot there, where do you feel early childhood begins as far as that one specific thing there?
Well, early childhood, I mean, begins...
What can we do about that as far as, like, you know, we talk a lot about it and we say, well, we need to focus on it. Is there anything specific, do you think, do we deal with the parents? Do we...
Well, I think it has to be a multi-prong. You know, parents are going to play a significant role in this, as parents always have to play a significant role in their child's well-being and their child's education. But we, as a society, have to give them the tools, the places that they can go to take their children, the education that parents need, even before their children are born. We need to, as a society, put the resources in Senator Michael Sanchez and a lot of other legislators have supported the proposal. I just think I read this morning that our permanent fund is at an all-time high of 19 billion.
Correct.
And they want to take a small fraction of that and actually sunset it after 10 years, because this is something that would have to go to the voters in case this proposal isn't working as well as we thought. Take that money, invest it in early childhood as early as possible, get these children, get these parents the education they need, so we do not have the debate about third grade. We do not have the debate about dropout rates. If we get them prepared early enough, those things not only take care of themselves, but when you also look at public safety, more children and more of our kids that are graduating, going into the workforce, have self-worth, have an education, go out and have a job. It also helps with our public safety side, because people are less prone to turn to doing things that just to make end meet that put other folks in danger.
How do we stop this? They always refer to it as brain drain. All these college graduates just take off and they go back east or go to California or go somewhere else. Not necessarily California, but they're going to states that kind of give them employment. How do we stop this brain drain? Is there anything specific that you feel that we can kind of do to, I know luring businesses here is one way, I think. Is there any other way we can stop them from leaving, giving them some kind of educational incentive maybe or something? Well,
obviously with the lottery scholarship, we do offer a lot of incentives for higher education. Going back to recruiting businesses, we have the labs, we have the Air Force bases, so we do have plenty, we have intel, we do have plenty of, high sector employment where we do keep a lot of our folks in state. But the best way, I believe, to recruit and retain some of these high-paying jobs and some of these out-of-state businesses like Tesla is, the tax incentive side is a great thing to look at, but it's our education system. I firmly believe that if
he's going to need the force to work there.
If we do not have the workforce,
so we're looking at training, right?
Yes,
we're looking at training. So. Now, if they're coming out of college, they have an undergraduate, which is not worth very much nowadays.
Sure.
Do we give them some incentive as far as training so we can have companies look at that? Because they always look at what our culture here is and say, well, you guys don't promote anything as far as training, this and that. We're going to have to bring our own forces in, import all the labor and stuff. And these are decent jobs. I know we're picking on a Tesla point there, but then there's a lot of other companies there that are always looking at. So higher education, you think the lottery scholarship is sufficient for now?
Well, I don't think it's sufficient. I think it gives us an access, it gives especially low-income high school graduates access to higher education, which I think is a great thing. Without that, they probably don't go. But we need to, you're right, now that we've kind of transformed from a high school diploma used to be fine, now a bachelor's degree, used to be fine. Now you need a master's, and then eventually, folks are going to have to go above and beyond that, most likely. You're exactly right. We need to figure out ways that we can invest in early childhood education, so our students are learning and graduating and going to college, but then we need to make sure that we give them the skills necessary to go pursue a further degree. And I think working with...
Or additional training is what I was saying.
Or additional training.
Well, you did an undergraduate, let's have you train in this so you can possibly, get a job with such and such XYZ company.
And I think another thing that we need to look at is even with a lot of our trades, we need to figure out, just not every high school student wants to become a doctor or a lawyer, or not every high school student even wants to go to college. And we need to work with our community colleges as well as our high schools and those in the trades industry to start to get our high school students, and I don't know if that starts at the freshman year or starts maybe in their junior year, start to get them on a track to where they feel confident that they're going down the road that they want to go down. Because too many times we try to tell them where they need to go or where they should go or what we think is appropriate. And if they don't want to do that, we're almost setting them up for failure from the beginning.
A lot of it comes down to how we deal with our youngsters. I think at the age of, say, 14, 15, when they're just about to graduate. Let me take another break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the other issues there. Okay. We'll take a short break. We'll be back momentarily.